Today's vocabulary word is Quamutiik, and I'll explain what that means. And I'm keeping this lighting because it kind of goes along with what some of you might be thinking. John lost his freaking mind. How come he's talking about dog sleds and stuff like that? Well, transitional period of my life, and there's certain stresses involved in that, so got to cut old John some slack. Old chisel, I love this. There's not a single pit. It was sitting in the bottom of a tool chest. Blah, blah, blah. And I cleaned it up. And anyway, I did find a copy of that book, Building Sleds by Raymond Thompson. There's a site. It's kind of the eBay of books. It's called Abe, A-B-E, Books. And there were 2 copies of it. Forget-Me-Not Books, I believe the name of the thing is. Sellers on like a big clearinghouse for selling books in Fairbanks, Alaska. And I bought the soft cover in good condition for $30 and not the hard cover in fair condition for $50. Thinking finances here. Anyway, dog sleds, talked about Libby Riddles. I proclaimed February Libby Riddles month. But I also came across the design for the heavy cargo sleds that the Inuit use, a Quamutiik. It has 2 eyes, which probably Quamutiik, kind of a thing. Anyway, 2 runners, splayed 7 degrees, and this is important. They're not like the runners are 90 degrees because they're not thin like skis. They're wide runners. 7 degrees so they don't collapse and makes it easier to turn. Up to 20 feet long. These were big things. Cross members on the top that were simply lashed. Well, I found this video. This fellow made a small one. And not as traditionally dimensional as the real ones, but this one is small. And the beauty of this video shows how they knotted, how they laced those cross members to the runners. So I'm going to put that video in the description. It is a YouTube video. Now, the beauty of this, ice fishing sleds, dog sleds, got it, is that this would make a beautiful, simple, elegant, very traditional ice fishing sled on a smaller scale. You're not going to be dragging a 20-foot sled on the ice, for ice fishing, going after them walleye and perch. You need a smaller one. So I'm envisioning making these things out of white cedar, maybe rawhide lashing, although that would add to the expense of them. Perfect for a very traditional, very simple, elegant ice fishing sled. Anyway, check out that video. And the fellow really shows nicely. You built something simple, traditional, a native style thing, right? And there's so many subtleties that they've built into these things, like splaying those runners out 7 degrees. And how they tie their knots. I'm fascinated by that. I'm sorry, but how do they tie those knots? It's pretty cool. How do they make those deck boards where the lashings are seated? It's cool stuff. Check out that video. Have a good one. Better make some bunny tracks, as I say, because I gotta make some breakfast. It's a 7 o'clock work day because we're switching out sale items. With that, I shall say adieu and keep your tools sharp.